Look at this fancy loot, and let's modify vanilla loot tables. If you want to go deeper, the 26.x modding courses are linked down below. 30 plus hours covering complex block entities with fluid and energy handling, custom mobs, custom networking, and even custom biomes and dimensions. Everything you need for 26.x all in one place, linked down below in the description. Alright, fans, back to tell you more, and in this tutorial we'll be adding or modifying vanilla loot tables. Indeed, and of course we once again will be using the absolutely awesome global loot modifiers for it. This is basically a way given to us by NeoForge to basically change the loot tables. For this, what we're going to do is we're going to get two new data gen classes. The first one is going to be the mod global loot modifier provider. That's a bit of a mouthful right there. And the second one is going to be the mod extra loot provider. I'll explain exactly what those do right now. So the global loot modifier provider is going to register the global loot modifiers, and the way to do it is with a loot modifier, crazily enough. Now, if you press shift 4 times and look at the loot modifier over here from NeoForge Common Loot, this is, implementing the global loot modifier interface. In theory, you can also either implement that or implement or extend from the loot modifier abstract class, and there is one that already exists, which is the new add table loot modifier over here, which basically adds a loot table to an already existing loot table. That's the idea. This is basically probably going to be almost everything that you're going to need, but in theory, with extending the loot modifier, you could also create your own loot modifiers, or that would work as well. Now, for this, we will need to provide a resource key of a loot table. For this, we're going to use this mod extra loot provider, which is going to save our loot tables, and this is going to work by implementing the loot table sub provider. We've seen this almost with the block loot sub provider over here, but in this case, it's going to be the loot table sub provider implementing that interface where we need to override the generate method, and then we can also add a public mod loot provider with a holder lookup dot provider as the constructor over here. Very important that we have this so that we can create the new one. And for each of our different loot tables, we also need a resource key. So we're gonna get ourselves some resource keys, and I'll explain what is going on. So this is the resource key of a loot table, and this is gonna be, for example, the onion seeds equal to resource key dot create registries dot loot underscore table, and then this is going to be an identifier from namespace and path with tutorial mod.mod ID. This is going to be under extra / global loot modifiers / onion seeds. This does not necessarily have to be this way, but I do think that this, in my opinion, makes sense to put your global loot modifier loot tables in a completely separate folder structure over here. It could also literally just be like global loot modifiers, onion seeds, whatever you so choose, that is fine, but that is going to be the name / location of your loot table. We'll also do the metal underscore detector found over here. Of course, changing the name right here as well to metal detector found. That's okay. And then the last one is going to be the raw azurite. Now, this is going to obviously be quite specific for the 3 loot tables that we're going to create over here in the generate method. I'll write one of them out and we'll copy the other 2 over, but you'll find this is very, very straightforward. In this instance, with the loot tables, we're only defining sort of what drops, right? So we're defining how many things drop, what the percentage chance is, and what the item or items are. I highly recommend you can take a look at the built-in loot tables is one of the places to look. These are archaeology, as you can see, shearing. So those are the some of the loot tables that we have. And you can, of course, also go into the loot table subprovider, Control H for the hierarchy, and then look at all of the other ones right here. So, vanilla equipment loot, vanilla chest loot. You have everything over here available, and you can see this is how they build the loot tables. So, for example, the abandoned mineshaft, that's a loot table and a freaking half right here. Lots of things you see with like different weights, and the idea is that you roll, between 2 and 4 times, and then the weights get taken into account and all sorts of things like that. Highly recommended to check that out to understand how to build complicated loot tables. For our purposes, we're going to get the output over here, except then passing in the onion seeds, and then we'll make a loot table dot loot table. So this is the loot table method. I'm going to do this with a pool. Then inside, we're going to call loot pool dot loot pool, and then this is where the magic happens and where we can define some stuff. For example, we can set the roles. This is how many roles there are going to be. For our purposes, we're going to do a constant value of exactly 1. Then we will call the when method. This determines when this happens, crazily enough. And we're going to do a loot item random chance condition dot random chance, which is going to be 25%, let's say. And then we're going to add to this this loot table the specific item, which is a loot item dot loot table item, passing in mod items dot onion seeds dot get. And just like that, we have the table made. Crazy enough, but that is the idea. I would say for like 70% of purposes, this is probably what you're going to want to have. You want to set, the number of rolls, you want to set the likelihood, and then you want to set the item. We will see in the two examples that we have afterwards, the metal detector found rather, this one right here, as well as the raw azurite, we will basically see that those two look slightly differently, rather they have like one additional thing. Also, this is output right here. There we go. And the idea is that we also have an apply method for the set item count function, idea being that there is a 100% chance that a metal detector is added to whatever we want to, this loot table when we reference this. However, it is between 1 and 2. So there's a 50% chance of 1 being added and 50% chance of 2 being added because it's a uniform generator. Like I said, you can go through this and you can look at the number of providers. There's like binomial distributions, environment. Like it's absolutely insane how many things you theoretically can do with loot tables. They are extremely versatile. However, obviously they also can get quite complicated, which is why in this example, we're basically very sort of, we're doing it quite simple. But like I said, this is going to cover most of the changes that you want to basically do. And what we're going to do then is add these different loot tables to different sort of conditions. And the way to do that is in the global loot modifiers provider over here, where we will first of all extend from the global loot modifier provider. Let's hover over this to implement the stored method. We'll hover over this again, create constructor matching super. And of course, the mod ID we can immediately fill out because we know that this is tutorial mod.modID. Very straightforward. And in the stored, that is where the magic happens. We are calling the add method with a name. So for example, this is going to be onion seeds to short grass, right? This is the modifier name. Then we have to give it the modifier, which is the add table loot modifier. We then need to give it an array of loot item condition. And we're going to do exactly this. This is the array of loot item condition. And this looks crazier than it actually is. In our case here, we basically determine the different blocks over here. Now I do think that we can just do grass. And in theory, shouldn't we be able to do loot block state property condition that has block state property blocks dot, then we have the short grass right here. And then we build this. And in theory, I'm pretty sure we should be able to also do this with tall grass, if I recall correctly, because this is just an array. The question is if the conditions all have to be met or only a single one has to be met. Well, I guess we're about to find out, aren't we? That's going to be okay. After the closing curly bracket, we then have a priority. We're just going to do 10 over here and then mod extra loot provider dot onion seeds and then ending it with a closing parentheses. And there we go. Now the priority over here is a new addition. You can see priority right here and we can actually see it right here as well. Priority. So I'm not 100% sure. So, default priority is 1,000. Probably we should just set it to 1,000 then as well, because if that's the default priority, I feel like 1,000 is okay. For the sake of argument, I'm going to copy over the other two. Those were priority 10 as well. That's not quite right. But you can see we're adding the metal detector over here to the jungle temple and then raw azurite to the creeper. If you wanted to know what the loot table ID condition over here is, or rather the name, you can see this is with default namespace, and then the name right here, or the location is kind of be gotten under extra, the external libraries, not quite extra, but I mean, it's a little bit extra, but there we go. And we want to find the hatched over here, beta merged under data, Minecraft. This is going to be loot underscore table. And this is the base, so the root folder, right? And then you can see chests, and you can see chests right here, and you can see entities, and you can see entities right here. And then this is the name of the JSON file. So in this case, creeper. So we're adding to the creeper JSON file the raw azurite loot table. So that's going to be added onto it. And that's the whole idea. Now, the only thing that I'm not 100% sure about if the different has block state properties here are going to work. So if this is going to add it to both the short grass and the tall grass, or if it's now going to look for having both of them at the same time. Let's just try it out. Sometimes you got to be a little bit crazy like this. To use the mod global loot modifiers and of course the extra loot, we want to go to our data gen class right here in the loot table provider. Inside of this list right here, you can see we're making new sub entry providers and we want to do another one. So we want to make a second one right here for the mod extra loot provider. And here what I recommend you do is you do all params for the parameter sets. That is going to allow you to make any type of extra like loot table over here. That's going to allow you to make any type of loot table in this, right? And it's not only going to be sort of for the blocks, but in theory, you could do whatever you so choose to. That's going to get our loot tables generated. And then finally here, we're going to do generator.add provider with a true over here. And this is going to be the new mod global loot modifiers provider, of course, needing both the hack output as well as the lookup provider. Awesome stuff. stuff. With that, let's run the data gen over here, which we can then see is going to generate all of the stuff that we are going to need for this. This is actually under data and then tutorial mod, then loot modifiers over here. This is going to be our 3 modifiers. Like I said, I'm not 100% sure if the conditions here are an and or an or, but listen, we'll find out. And we can also see under the loot table, we got extra GLM, global loot modifiers, right? And those are our 3 different loot tables over here that we've defined. So I would say, let's jump into the game and see if it works. Alright, finally back in Minecraft, and let's first of all try to get some onion seeds here from the grass. Now, I'm gonna say, even though it's 25% chance, right, and of course, you know, sometimes you can get unlucky, I don't think that that's gonna work. Let's brute force the idea and let's just see, but I'm pretty sure that it actually is an and for the loot conditions, so, yeah, I don't think that that's gonna work, so we'll have to redo that. Okay, for the sake of sanity, though, let's just make sure that the creepers work, just in case that, you know, maybe nothing works. That would be bad. No, the creepers do work, so they definitely have the raw azurite added right here. Yeah, so let's redo the grass. Okay, I looked into it and I believe, without testing it, of course, because this is the time where we're gonna go crazy, we could use the any of condition right here. So we should be able to do any of condition dot of any, and then this is gonna take in the builder over here. This should be built, and then those should not be built, if I understand it correctly. There we go. And now it should take any of these conditions. Will this work? Only time will tell. So let's regenerate this. Obviously, if you make changes here in the global loot modifiers provider, then you need to rerun data gen, and then right here you can see now it is a condition any of, and now the terms are either that it's short grass or that it is tall grass. So let's see if that does it. All right, let's take a look and look at that. Now that works. Sometimes, you know, it's just supposed to be that way. That is awesome. You can actually see that we got both of them at the same time. I'm pretty sure that one of the grass ones dropped both normal seeds, or like wheat seeds, as well as the onion seeds. Very interesting indeed that both of them can drop at the same time. But there we have it. That is going to be that. And of course, I know you're eagerly awaiting the metal detector in the jungle. So let's take a look at that as well. I feel like I came in from the wrong direction, but it doesn't matter that much. There we go. We got ourselves the metal detector. Absolutely fantastic. And that is global loot modifiers, vanilla modifying vanilla loot tables over here. Added to our Minecraft mod. Awesome. As always, all of the code is available to you down below, but that's gonna be it for this tutorial right here. Thank you so much for watching, and thanks for the support from the patrons and the YouTube membership. Don't forget, if you join as a Stonebricks member on YouTube, you can get up to 14 days of early access, which includes this video right here. We'll add a simple block entity. Hope to see you there. So yeah.